herO is on absolute fire lately. He's without a shadow of a doubt the best Protoss player in StarCraft 2 right now, and honestly, that alone already feels really nice to say, because whenever we have the discussion of who's the best Terran player in the world right now, people will tell you it's Maru. Whenever we have the discussion who's the best Zerg player in the world right now, at the very least over the last couple of years, people will tell you that it's herO. But whenever we have the same discussion on who's the best Protoss player in the world, honestly, it's a little hard to say. Maybe it's herO, maybe it's Stats, maybe it's Zest, maybe it's, you know, Classic. There's a couple of Protoss players that come to mind, but none of them really sticks head and shoulders out above the rest. Well, recently, I think it's fair to say that that's changed. So today in a best of 5 series, playing here with the Red Protoss probes, as you may have already guessed, we have none other than herO and his opponent on Moondance LE, playing here with the blue SCVs, likewise ranked amongst the highest players in the world. We are looking at ByuN's main command center. Alrighty, now ByuN going for a pretty far forward barracks here. Interesting position. Not really where you would expect it to be. Maybe he really wants to get that first unit across the map a little bit faster. Anyhow, spoiler alert for the GSL Code S Grand Finals. I guess you can already figure out, just by what I've said earlier, what ended up going down there. Anyways, that happened a couple of days ago. At the very least, if you're watching this video shortly after it goes up on my YouTube channel, herO ended up winning in the Grand Finals 4-1 over Maru. Maru was looking for his 5th GSL victory, but herO ended up winning 4-1, which is honestly very impressive. And honestly, herO just played better. herO honestly just played better. He played better StarCraft 2 than Maru did, and that alone already says a lot. So he's definitely on fire right now when it comes to the PvT matchup, but he's looking phenomenal in Protoss versus Zerg as well. His PvP is looking solid. Yeah, it's cool. So herO came back from the military some time ago. It's awesome to see that he still is capable of putting out some stellar results. So yeah, ByuN is going to lift up the barracks after producing just 1 Reaper. And now he's building a bunker over here in the back of the natural mineral line of the Protoss player. So that bunker is going to go up unspotted. Yep. This Reaper does arrive a couple seconds sooner, right? Not a huge difference, but ooh, nice micro right there on that probe. Keeping it alive for now. Very nicely done right there, but no, herO. Okay, he kept it alive really well until he didn't. Anyways, this is the point where herO will first see that bunker. Is this going to make him cancel the Nexus? No, definitely not. This is one of those moves, though, that's kind of annoying because you need to address it. And obviously for the Terran player, this is a relatively small investment. Mainly because of the fact that, well, they can just salvage the bunker, right? If they really need to, they can just go ahead and salvage the bunker. Now, at the same time, herO is proxying a pylon closer to the side of the Terran, who's now decided to go for a command center on the low ground. Soon, though, the shield battery will be done. This is scouted just now as well by ByuN, so ByuN apparently wants to get on out of here already. It doesn't really want to take any gambles, and makes a lot of sense. Should be able to salvage the bunker here as well. Maybe he wants to wait until something's attacking it. Nice little bit of SimCity here on top of that high ground. What do you call this? Like a ledge? He can try and jump up there with that Reaper, but he's not going to be able to enter the main base very comfortably. At the same time, though, the Adept trying to be annoying. Okay, it does get at the very least 1 of those SCVs before it shades on out of there. And the proxies, all right, it's going to be a Stargate together with a Gateway. So despite the fact that this was ByuN starting off with some aggression, I believe that this is now herO going in for, well, almost the kill. Right? I mean, this needs to deal a critical amount of damage, because otherwise he's going to be very far behind as soon as Terran picks up on it. Now, I really like that this Adept is still active and out there, because if it wasn't, I'm fairly sure that ByuN might gonna, you know, he might want to check the right side of the map or maybe the left side of the map, but because he's constantly addressing those Adepts, or actually, is it just a single Adept up to this point? I think so. Yeah, it's just been a single Adept, because he's been so busy trying to push that one back. He hasn't had the time and, well, really like the wiggle room here to check out the right side of the map as well. So that first Phoenix is going to arrive rather quickly. He's going to be able to lift up nice and easy as well. Okay, good control right there by ByuN. Micro Jackson keeping the units alive. Loses one Cyclone over there, but he does grab 2 Stalkers as well. Not bad whatsoever. I don't know if ByuN at this point has realized yet that this is proxied. He probably does realize that the Phoenix is proxied, but he doesn't know about the warp-in location over here. And honestly, that makes this a much more aggressive situation to be in. This Phoenix does need a little bit more energy before it can lift up. Well, one of the siege tanks already popped out of the sky. Good targeting there once again by herO. But once more, he ends up losing 2 of those Stalkers. So honestly, not that bad of a situation here for ByuN so far. He needs to be careful, though, about the siege tank situation, right? Because At some point, if that Stalker Ball grows... Oh, he doesn't have energy. At some point, if that Stalker Ball grows... The bio units here for Terran are just not going to cut it, right? Like, this is not an army that's going to finish up Stimpak, Combat Shield here anytime soon. He's only just now adding on the additional barracks, too, so... He will finish it in a couple minutes from now, but for the time being, this is going to be just Marines without upgrades. And Stalkers, I mean, they can micro against that all day, every day. Okay, good lock-on right there on the Cyclone. Good micro as well by herO, keeping those units alive for now. 3 more gateways are finishing up. Still going to be a bit, though. Alright. And this is important here for ByuN. If you wouldn't shut this down, I think the reinforcements would just start flooding in, and then at some point you're just not going to be in a very good position anymore. So that's an important cleanup there for the Terran player. Definitely grabbing a nice advantage for himself in this particular game. Siege Tank here in a bit of trouble, but SCVs magically repair it back up to full HP from the ground. Nobody understands how that works. Phoenixes are, by the way, spellcasters, right? So this is one of the things that is easily forgotten about if you're not a Protoss player. But these units, really... These units do need energy to go for one of those graviton lifts. Alright, so herO is not gonna go for a third Nexus of his own. No, he's just gonna go for charge. Doesn't have blink or anything along those lines yet, but he wants to go for charge and potentially a lot of damage on the other side of the map once again. At this point, ByuN has decided to move out. I don't actually know if that's the right choice. He does have a pretty large army, so that's nice. Charge is going to finish up in 5 seconds. He could even set up a crazy surround over here as well, because Zealots are coming in from the back, Stalkers are coming in from the front, and I think that reinforcing Zealots may very well be... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, maybe they can go in as well. A little bit of a disjointed engagement right here for herO, but apparently he's like, well, you know what? Yeah, I've got charge done. I can catch up with those Terran units easy peasy. I don't even really need my reinforcements. Let me see if I can just pick them off. And, well, so far, so good. One Siege Tank here, okay, a little bit of energy does remain on those Phoenixes to force out another lift. And now the front door is wide open. ByuN was very far ahead in this game just about a minute or so ago, but he decided to go for a move out, not anticipating his opponent to go for a secondary proxy pylon and then also charge first. I think this is too much. Yeah, fairly sure that this is just too much right now. ByuN is going to try and go for the switcheroo. He's probably hoping that there's no proxy pylon. But yeah, at some point you'll realize those units are coming to my side of the map a little bit quicker than I would normally anticipate. GG is called, and game number 1 does go in favor of herO. Nice. Alright, game number 2. We find ourselves on Stargazers, and ByuN, alright, decides to send out an SCV straight across the map. I made a bit of a list with all of the GSL Code S winners over the last couple of years. The last 5 years of StarCraft 2. I wanted to make a point here, but I guess maybe that has to wait until the next game, because ByuN definitely is planning on being aggressive here, right? So, in order to go for a barracks, you need to have a supply depot done. But I think that explains, yeah, that explains why you send out an SCV this early. Stargazer's not a super short map. Supply depot finishes, and indeed, he is going to proxy that very first barracks of his. Now, already a probe has moved down the ramp. This is a okay. Could have been a disaster. If you lose the SCV that's building the barracks and you don't finish the barracks in time, you can't go for a factory. If you can't go for a factory, you really can't stay in the game. Alright, herO does find it here eventually. Second probe gets pulled out of the main base as well to continue harassing. Another SCV is already being sent out across the map too, so ByuN is doubling down on this barracks. So if he doesn't finish up this barracks, it's GG. I mean, you lose like a minute or so of time, and honestly, that's just too much at this level of play. So the second SCV is now holding all the marbles. I don't know if ByuN can go in for the kill here. No attack move! Alright, no attack move on that probe. Interesting. This is gonna be real close. God. If he doesn't fit... No, I think he's gonna finish it. I think if that probe would have attack moved, or would have attack moved, rather than, like, you know, high-five the SCV on its way there, this barracks may have never finished, and honestly, at that point, it may as well be GG. Alright. What are we doing? What are we doing here, Mr. herO? I think herO has found a perfect opportunity to go for the gold base first. It's one of the things I like about herO's playstyle quite a bit. He plays a relatively conventional style of Protoss, but he also definitely is not afraid to, you know, especially at game number 1 of the grand finals of the GSL. That was something. He decided to, so I guess spoiler for Blackburn. He went for a bit of a cheeky opener and then took both of the gold bases on that map. It's a little much. Anyways, ByuN at this point has seen the... Should have seen the Stargate. Ooh, he hasn't actually yet. That's a problem. He hasn't seen the Stargate. Although I guess it's safe to assume. He's got bigger problems, though, with that Zealot now getting towards the other side of the map. Reaper has to come back home as well to try and deal with that. Honestly, if this tech lab... I don't think it's going to finish, right? Maybe it will, if he decides to target it down. Alright, CC does come up eventually. But this is already such an amazing position right here for herO. Like, he's bought himself at least a minute. And he's leveraging that extra minute that he's got right now by going for a gold base. That's now the 3rd SCV that's gone down in this game. Yeah, not bad at all. The gold base is going to finish up nice and early. I'm expecting herO to maybe go for a cheeky little recoil towards the bottom section of the map as well. Probably about half the probes. Yep. Not quite half, but he does recoil a bunch of workers. This way he can continue... Well, he probably should have produced a couple more there. Or recoiled a couple more. Anyways, this way you can easily continue building 2 of those bad boys at once. Reaper goes down, and at this point, our Terran player is in the dark. Terran has absolutely no clue about what's happening in his game, but honestly, he can probably figure out roughly what's going on. He didn't see a natural there from Protoss, so you can probably deduce that this is going to be a gold base, although this is obviously a relatively new map. So maybe those timings are going to be kind of hard to judge. Either way, I think we'll discuss the GSL results over the last couple of years in the next game. This is a best of 5 after all. Nice lock on. That's important. Not a lot of room here for error anymore. Going for double Cyclone, triple Cyclone even. I like it. Triple Cyclone is one of those things that allows you to, yeah, stay alive at the very least, but already, once again, a lot of damage is being done. Oracles don't mess around. Yeah, let's go. Oh, God. All right. Well done. I think that exchange, actually, that was one of those herO moves right there. I think most Protoss players would have turned around. He was like, nope, I'll trade 1 Oracle for 2 Cyclones. Thank you very much. Good start here. Very good start here for a Protoss player. If we look right now at the income graph, yeah. Protoss is getting about between 500 and 750 minerals more a minute, which adds up very, very rapidly. Alright, 3rd Nexus is coming up, so he's going to try and build that economical advantage as well. Okay, so what exactly do you do right now if you're ByuN? Well, I guess your best bet is to try and go back to basics, right? Try and just keep as many of those units alive. There's a 4th Oracle right now, right? A 4-Oracle, as Wardy would call it. He's hunting, man. Look at them, so aggressive. Okay, that might be a bit much. Oh my god, really? Okay. No! What was that, bro? Makes one mistake after doing a dozen correct moves. Lowko gets angry. Look, I expect perfectionism, okay, from every single one of these players. Perfect plays only on my channel, okay? Losing an Oracle randomly? Wouldn't happen to me. Actually, I would have lost, you know, when the first 2 Cyclones showed up. It would have been indecisive and then lost, you know, both of them probably. Anyhow. Yeah, I think what you need to do right now if you're ByuN is just try and play a normal game, right? Try and just go stimp back, combat shields +1. Try and just build up a large army. Obviously, Terran units always pack a punch, right? And you can see right now in the army supply, Protoss is actually a little bit ahead in that department. It's just that the longer that he waits... Yeah, so now he definitely has confirmed the gold base. The longer that he waits, the bigger his problems will become, though. Because, you know, every minute that goes by right now, just look at the amount of income that herO is gathering over... Or gaining, I guess, over his opponent. herO is gonna grow out of control very rapidly. One problem, though, here for herO is that his bases are disconnected. So he's got some units over here, a shield battery over here, too. So honestly, this could deal a lot of damage. Yeah. Charge is not done yet. Neither is infantry weapons level 1, by the way. Okay. Is there enough here? Yeah, there is going to be enough to push this back for now. This is still dicey, but I like that he's going for 1 Phoenix. One Phoenix to force the Terran player to make moves. Alright. Yeah, so every minute that goes by right now, herO is just outgrowing ByuN. So action is very much so on ByuN in these types of games, because herO really doesn't need to move, right? herO can move if he wants to, and he's a rather aggressive player, so I think he probably will, but he really doesn't need to. And honestly, it can be a bit of a gamble. Siege tank over here or over there, yeah, it's a really good position. He hasn't seen those additional zealots on the back of this as well. But this is a difficult choke to break. If 2 tanks are already sieged up. Would love to see one of those medevacts flying a little in that direction just to see if the Terran player is going up against the Protoss who's camping out there. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Oracles do scout out what's happening, and ByuN decides to, or sorry, herO right here decides to retreat. Okay. That was a disaster in the making. Instead, he decided to plant down a 4th Nexus, which seems like the logical move. So everything that ByuN does right now puts him on, you know, the back foot, right? Like, he's been on the back foot for a while, and he's sticking in this game. But he's in a lot of trouble here. I mean, if Protoss is going to finish up their 4th Nexus around the same time that you finish your 3rd orbital command, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out, you know, how that math works out. It's not a great situation, but honestly, this Terran army still packs a punch. I know I always repeat that, but I've seen many games from this exact point of view before, where Terrans just sort of ignore the gold base and pretend that that is not out there, and they just slowly but surely play their own game, and eventually they end up with a very nice army. A maxed out Marine Marauder medevac tank, yeah, deals a lot of damage. Alright. We'd really like to see Protoss making a transition towards a higher tier army as well, though, so he's decided to stick around on gateway units. Which, yeah, okay, it's kind of his bread and butter, but I think this is a good choice. So 2nd Robo facility and then also a Robo Bay. Going into either Colossi or especially, you know, Disruptors later on is a very good idea. Just to push back those really big bio balls. You can just go into Colossi easy peasy here as well. At the very least, though, despite the odds that I thought at the beginning of this game, ByuN has secured a 3rd base. His economy, not bad whatsoever. Not as good as herO, but not bad whatsoever. herO actually only at, yeah, 66 probes. Not as many as you'd like to see here either. Gold Expo is already running low. He's in a really good spot, but he hasn't won this game yet. This is, by the way, usually the Terran's map pick. So in tournaments like this, players take turns in choosing maps and vetoing maps. And Stargazers is considered a pretty good map for the Terran. Main reason is that you can quite comfortably secure 5 bases. And that may very well be ByuN's saving grace in this game. If he can secure another base, I think he's going to feel pretty comfortable. His upgrades are looking good as well, by the way. He didn't slack on the +2/+2. You'd love to see that. Double Colossus play right now, though. Look at the minimap, though. Like, the map, like, I've said this, like, 10 times as well in previous casts, but herO really does play Protoss like he's a Zerg. He's just everywhere. He's rapidly out-expending the opponent. And as long as you take somewhat economical, you know, traits, the games usually do go your way. So he's really playing these Protoss units like they are Zergs. Look at that. The stasis wards all over the map too. They do time out after a little while, but there is a chance that, well, ByuN walks into it, and that's instantly GG. Because then, well, the Protoss player is going to be all over that. Maybe not instantly, but close to it. It does look like, though, herO here is a merciful god. He's giving his opponent at least enough time to max out. Maybe not entirely his choice, but the map layout doesn't really allow him to go into the start base very easily. That pocket base is very hard to prevent. Okay. Stasis ward. Oh my god. Okay, he does see right now that there is a stasis ward over here. That might make him a little bit more cautious moving around the map. herO right here does have a little observer up above. Widowmine herO will be cleaned up. Double Stargate coming up, +1 flyer attacks, fleet beacon. I mean, this is herO just playing as safe as possible. Like, sometimes though, when you play super safe, you actually, you know, get into a spot where you are accidentally taking risks. Meaning, like, herO may very well be fine in the late game, but there's a very good chance that ByuN is never going to play the late game in the first place, right? That he's just going to be happy, sitting there, macroing up, and then go for, like, one big-ass push in the mid game. It can be really tempting to just build up, but if the opponent never does, you might be in some trouble. Anyways, Zealot's over here. Not really achieving that much at all. Yeah, he's going bowling right now. Alright. I really expected him to go a little bit more hard on this base, if I'm being honest with you. herO, that is. I really thought he was going to try and push into this expansion. Okay. He's trying. Yeah, those Colossi with some extra range. Not bad whatsoever. Few Marauders, though. Yeah, do split themselves off from the pack. Marauders don't really do very... Or, sorry, Colossi don't do particularly well against those Marauders. Good EMP as well. Okay. 3 carriers are coming up right now, by the way. He's getting a little bit of everything. Like, he's even getting the Tempest upgrade. So he really is investing into a ton of different resources. Those EMPs have been absolutely massive, by the way. Blanketing the entirety of this Protoss army. Okay, moving forward. Siege tank does go down, but Liberators are coming up right now. Liberators are, of course, the ultimate anti-ground unit right here for the Terran player. He's now building 3 of those at once. This is the engagement, though, that herO, okay, had been hoping for at least a little bit. Still, though, there's a bunch of damage coming out of those Terran units. A lot of these biological armies, though, are starting to run low. Carriers have arrived right now. ByuN sees them. What exactly do you do against that, huh? This is still a scary Terran army, though. 3-3 is not done just yet, but it is going to be finished here in about half a minute or so from now. Marines and Marauders are starting to plow their way through this force. A lot of reinforcing Zealots, though. Do pop out of that Warp Prism. Did he just win that fight? Ish, kind of. Yeah. herO doesn't have much of a bank here either, right? It's because he's been investing into so many of those different upgrades. Like, he's got Tempest upgrades and everything, but 0 Tempest. Let's go for Warp Prism speed and this, Observer speed. He's got a little bit of speed everywhere. But not really a whole lot of value. He's going into a Dark Shrine, but he's not really making a lot of use out of any of those things. Whereas ByuN is just going Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Liberator, Siege Tank, right? He's going additional command centers. He's got 3-3 upgrades. He's only got the most needed units. And so far, it seems to be serving him quite well. Okay, decent Disruptor hits over there. Liberators up in the air. A couple of them do end up going down, but I think those trades were once again pretty good there for the Terran. The only problem here for ByuN, though, is that his main base, his in base, yeah, all of these are going to start running pretty low. So he needs a new expansion. Good dodges right there as well from Micro Jackson against that one Disruptor hit. Another Disruptor coming in from the low ground. Whew. That one was just thrown over the rest of the Terran army. Yeah, ByuN is insanely good. 99.9% of Terran players in the world would have already died at this point in the game, right? After that horrible early game. I still think he's in an awful spot, but he's making the best of it. Yeah, herO actually now at a supply deficit. He needs to be cautious, man. Like, his income, yeah, that's those mules coming into the mix, right? His income is actually not as good as it once was compared to the Terran. He doesn't have a bank. He's not maxed out. Is ByuN doing this? Okay, there go the Disruptors once again. A little bit of damage left, right, and center. Liberators over there having a grand old time. And quite a few of those Protoss units just ended up going down. Pretty good split once again there by the Terran. Carriers, though, have a lot of HP, and there's the denial of that warp in. ByuN is actually gonna clean up all of those ground units, isn't he? Maybe a carrier as well. Yeah, there you go, man. Not a Disruptor, though. reinforces this, and he's gonna push this back. ByuN actually grabs a supply lead. He's been losing for about 16.5 minutes. But all that matters is the last part of the game. Alright. This is still one bad disruptor hit away from being a disaster, though. Obviously, that is ByuN's, you know, magic trick, right? That's his one trick that he likes to pull off in every single game. He's super good when it comes to, well, not losing all of his stuff to one disruptor, but can still happen. Oh, okay. Double Colossus. Coming right up. In the meantime, by the way, Planetary has been acquired. Orbital Command over there getting a lot of damage in as well. Or damage. Mining. Oh? Yeah, ByuN really seems like a scary guy to play against. One Phoenix here is gonna deny the next Orbital Command. He doesn't have advanced ballistics or anything, by the way, on those Liberators, so that is worth noting. Normally at this stage in the game, Terrans will have that ranged upgrade for the Libs. This makes them, yeah, quite a bit better. This base is pointless right now though for herO, so he really doesn't need to put too much of his effort into defending it. Scan over there reveals the entirety of the Protoss army as well. Okay. Don't mind if I do, says Mr. herO, as he grabs a couple of those units. Okay, careful now. Yeah, disruptors once again. Oh my god, oh my... He does snipe them just barely in the nick of time. When you're chasing a Protoss army like that, right, it may be tempting to look away for about half a second. Alright. ByuN somehow, some way managed to zigzag his units out of there. Very dangerous, but still alive. This Protoss army is lethal, though. Yeah, definitely a little bit more sophisticated than this of the Terran. There's also not enough energy on those medevacs to actually bring all of those bio units back up to full HP. Because of all those disruptor balls, even though they're not doing any massive connections, they are constantly forcing this Terran bio army to stim. And if there's another engagement right now, ByuN actually needs to win it because he definitely cannot afford going back and forth here the entire time. He's going 4 Liberators at once, which is awesome, but... Okay, this was some good zoning right here, though, from herO. Taking care of that command center in the bottom right. One of the few lifelines that ByuN still has. You might want to go for the in-base expo of himself, right? Probably not a bad idea. Okay, ByuN has decided to go for a Doom Drop. He's leaving part of his army at home, and he's pulled, well, 5 medevacs full of army units towards the other side of the map. There's about 50 supply caught up in units that are not part of this main engagement over here, but can he actually deal critical amounts of damage on the other side of the map? Recall is being used right now on about half of that Protoss army. He decides to stim forward. Very aggressive move, but I think that that's, yeah, a little bit of desperation. 13 SCVs end up going down. A good recall right there by herO. You never know exactly where those units appear when you recall them around that nexus, and this right now is starting to be a bit of a disaster. ByuN loses all of those medevacs, it seems. At the very least, the majority of the units. Yeah. I don't know why he decided to make a pit stop over there. I guess in his mind, those carriers were going to intercept him if he decided to go back up, you know, through like the northern section of the map, but that was just 50 supply down the drain. Okay, couple of zealots though. Do get picked off. herO right now, he's got himself a bit of a bank. Yeah, he does start mining out those mineral fields in his in-base expo. Yep, and it seems to me that once more, herO is zerging his way to success. Winning this match primarily... Oh my god, he got his own zealots over there. Well, I mean, he hasn't won yet. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to talk. There's no way ByuN can win this, right? I mean, I would like to believe... He goes additional command centers? Are you crazy? I think herO is winning this eventually just because he's getting a way more income here for a while already. And, well, for the majority of this game, he's had the income advantage. And because of that, he's just got more resources to spend his units on. His trades definitely have been particularly, yeah, efficient. Maybe not as bad as we normally see Zerg players at this stage in the game, but... Okay, well, maybe if you start donating 10 Zealots at once, this game could oh my god, he's not paying attention. Okay. He's attacking the rocks as well. Oh my god. That was a nasty little engagement over here. Neither player really paying very close attention to that. Liberators right now, a bit far forward. Vikings do start facing off against some of those units as well. Okay, lasers. Pretty good. Where are these units even coming from? Yeah, I was gonna say, where are these units even coming from on this side of ByuN? He hasn't had much income here for quite some time, but eventually, it is herO who obtains the victory. Alright. Can I talk about the stats now? Can I talk about the little list that I made? Looks like we have no probes moving out, and we also don't have an SCV going across. Okay, good. So let me just put them on the screen real quick. So these are the winners of the GSL Code S over the last 5 years. So here's the thing. Stats, other than, well, the most recent GSL Code S result, right? A couple of days ago, Mr. herO ended up winning. But stats is the most recent Protoss victor before that. There's been about a 5-year drought when it comes to a Protoss winner over in South Korea for a GSL Code S, which is honestly kind of wild. Like, esports have come and gone in that 5-year period, right? So we have Rogue, Cure, Dark, TY, Maru, a lot in there, right? Gumihost, Innovate, right? We have some really good players in there, and don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of second place finishes, and Protoss did win GSL Super Tournaments, but to see them winning, like, the pinnacle of StarCraft 2 events is really cool. Especially because it's herO. Like, after he came back from the military and everything, too. It's an amazing story. Anyways, what kind of build do we have right here from herO? So, herO went pylon into gateway, pylon into gateway with a single gas. He's looking to get very aggressive here. ByuN has already decided to go double gas of his own as well, so that is actually super important. If you want to go for a command center on the low ground, he'd be in a lot of trouble. So, Zealot is coming up on the other side of the map. Cybercore also planted down as soon as that first gateway finished up. This is herO going for 2-gate aggression, which is not something we very commonly see at all. Factory is coming up. ByuN really needs to scout this. Ideally, he scouts it. Because then he could go straight into a tech lab. Start pumping out those cyclones one at a time. Because this is going to be a lot of aggression, I think, coming out of herO. So, Cybercore is finishing up. Stalker starts up right away. Zealot is, already marching across. And then an Adept is building out of that very first gateway. This is herO basically saying, I'm 2-0 ahead. I know that this is not a build that normally wins a lot of games, but I have some room to take some chances. In a best-of-5 series, of course, it is the first player to win 3 maps who ends up winning this. Now, this is huge. ByuN actually does see the gateway. He does scout that one Stalker over here as well. Reaper gets him out of there, but it's not out of the woods just yet. Oh, perfect grenade. Really nice grenade right there. SCV's pulled to the front as well. Good movement there. Okay, Tech Lab is building. Reactor is finishing up, so he's going to be able to pump out 2 of those Marines at once. This is now going to be a micro battle. Bunker is not in a great spot just yet, though. One SCV already ended up going down there. At the very least, as far as building that bunker goes. Here's 2 more Adept showing up as well. This might accidentally turn out to be a bit of a disaster. Cyclone will be available in a moment. Okay. Yeah, I think eventually this supply depot will go down. It's gonna supply block ByuN. He only just now starts. He really needs to start up a new. Hello, ByuN. Oh no. I actually think that mule is a mistake. This is a huge supply block. I don't know why. He really should have started up on our supply depot here a little bit sooner. He decides to now go into a star port. Fair enough. Twilight Council coming up on the other side of the map as well as a Nexus. Okay, maybe it's okay. I'm surprised he decided to go for only 1 supply depot, though. Finally starts up another one over there in the back. I think herO could have actually doubled down there, but we probably didn't expect his opponent to hit a big supply block there either. Or maybe he's just giving a lot of respect to that one Cyclone, thinking, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to really push against that. May very well be right, but that supply block definitely was a painful one there for ByuN. Alright, so at the very least he's going to be able to stabilize, but now we're still talking 2-base Protoss versus 1-base Terran. Action right now on ByuN. Blink is coming up, though. So herO is going to go for his bread and butter style of his own. He loves the Blink upgrade. Yeah. And whenever you get to be the aggressor versus someone who is down in economy, you feel pretty good in a game of StarCraft, right? Like, that's exactly where you want to be. You gotta be careful you don't overextend. Okay. Siege tank. He really wants to kill that Cyclone, but... One medevac goes across the map. I like that move a lot. This is one of the things we see all the time. So right now, the Cyclone and the Siege tank, they are in charge of base defense. herO can probably figure this out here. He doesn't really see much, though, so it's really hard for him to say. This could actually be the change of battle right here that ByuN is looking for, right? So if he can go into the base and suddenly show up with 7 Marines here unscouted... Yeah, herO right now concerned for like a, you know, a variety of openers, I suppose. But he only has 2 Stalkers. Okay, recall being used right away. Protoss out of position. Bam! Now they're not. Yikes. Well done. We almost had a game. We almost did. Anyhow, Mr. herO, after sniping that medevac, he ends up winning this best of 5 series 3-0.